Okay, in your Heritage Studies lesson today, you are in your History, Science, Health, and Activity book. And in health, you've read in your health book, and then you put that to the side and you pulled out your activity book. And today you're talking in your book about the scientific method. Now, we studied this at the beginning of the school year using our science book at school. And so when you're doing the scientific method, okay, the first thing that we want to do is observe and ask questions. A scientist will always begin observing. That means looking with our eye and asking questions. Okay, your who, what, when, where, how, why, those questions. Then you're going to make your best educated guess and predict. Number 3, you experiment and gather data. And number 4, you study your data and you share it. Those 4 steps are going through the scientific method. When you get in the 3rd grade next year at NCA, you're going to do your first scientific method in your science project for the science fair. So if you came in February to open house, you would have seen the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade having their science fair boards up that night for open house. And you saw, if you went into the different classrooms, their experiments. Well, those boys and girls went through the scientific method, learning how to observe and gather data and make an experiment and study it and share it with others. Next, I want you to think about tools that a scientist would use. When would they use a microscope, a telescope, a magnifying lens, or a beaker? So if you look at the bottom, what would be something that you would see if you were using a telescope? Did you say the sky, the nighttime sky with the stars? You are right. How about under a microscope? Do you see the things that your human eye cannot see, like germs and bacteria growing? Okay, look at the magnifying lens. You can look at a leaf up close and see the beautiful veins on the back of the leaf using your hand lens. And finally, a beaker. A beaker is to hold liquid measures. So you're going to cut and paste and put these pictures where they go, because you're thinking like a scientist does. On the next page, energy to spare. I want you to circle all the things in the picture that have energy, starting with the sun. The sun is a major source of energy for life on the earth. And boys and girls, there are so many things that we can circle. Even the little girl fishing, she has energy. She's using energy to catch that fish. The fish is using energy to bite the bait on the end of the hook. Even the boat is using energy as it has to float across the water. So if you look up close, there are many, many signs of things using energy. Okay? We turn the page and we talk about motion. Objects that are being pulled and objects that are being pushed. There's a difference. Dad and Mom are pushing, aren't they, in the picture? But the young boy is pulling to get his kite out of the tree. So now we're going to talk about a different topic, the force of having to pull or push. And you see you're circling those objects. Then we're going to review on a compass rose where north, south, east, and west are. Remember, a compass rose always points north. So we've labeled the compass rose north, south, east, and west. And we're going to show our true north. So if you were in the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or American Heritage Girls Club, you would maybe go on a camping trip with your friends, and they'd give you a compass, and they may tell you to meet at this point along the trail, and you use your compass to show you your sense of direction. We're going to turn the page and think about machine mystery. So machines make work easier. Some machines use a wheel, okay, like a wheelbarrow. Some machines use a pulley where things are being pulled up, like how the pyramids were built. Some things use an inclined plane where you create a ramp. So the ramp is the inclined plane, letting the work be done easier, letting things travel up the inclined plane. And some things have to have a lever, okay? Like if you wanted to move a big stone, you would create a lever. So today in Mystery Machine, you are going to color code, like you see in the examples here, to show how to make work easier. Okay? 4 different ways that we can make work easier. Using inclined planes like you see on the ramp, a pulley like you see with the hay bales being lifted up into the hay barn, the wheel on the wheelbarrow, the lever or lever as we want to move a big object. And then you have a fun page. You get to do a crossword search to practice the different types of words that we've been talking about. Friction, fulcrum, axle, roll, inertia, lever, pulley, machine, motion, rocket, effort, ramp, seesaw, force, and wheel. Here is your snapshot for your answer key of where those words are. Now you see it, now you don't. Okay, and the last thing for you to practice is how to get a penguin to its igloo. This page is about liquids and gases and solids. So we know that a liquid would be something that has not solidified yet. A gas is something we typically can't see. It's in the air, like in what we breathe or breathe out of our lungs, like carbon dioxide. And then a solid would be things like an ice cube. Okay, the liquid is turned to a solid. So let me show you a snapshot of how to get your penguin to its igloo, where you should have gone. Do you see how we got the penguin to his home? Okay, we're thinking about solids, liquids, and gases. And that is all that you need to do today in your activity book for practice. All right. The next thing we're going to move along to is our phonics lesson. Here you see we have our special sounds. In asleep, all in also, beat in because, in and enjoy, un and unbutton. And we're going to turn that one on its side. Let me show you up close. Re and redo, and that means to do it again. Now I want you to think of a root word for in asleep. Don't say adopt because D-O-P-T is not a root word. How about alike? So we underline the root word like. We circle the suffix in asleep. All right, we've got all in also. Can you think of a root word for all? How about always? Dad and Mom will always love you. Underline your root word ways. Circle your suffix all. Be and because. Did you think of one? between. Circle B in because, underline the root word. In and enjoy, we could say, how about enforce? The police officer will enforce the law. Circle in and enjoy, underline the root word force. How about and unbutton? You could say underneath. In redo. About recycle. And there you have it. Today you're going to learn about contractions when you do your phonics and English paper. So a contraction is one word that takes the place of two words. She is becomes she's. Notice I'm going to cross out the I and is and replace it with the apostrophe S. She's. He will makes he'll. We are, we're. I am, I'm. It is, it's. You are, you're. There is, theirs. Now I bet you could make some contractions at home for fun. You could even make a contraction memory game or flashcards. All right, another thing I'd like to show you is something that makes you think of the Grand Canyon. Now here is a VHS tape that you used to put in a machine called the VCR, and it shows you a picture of the Grand Canyon. Do you see? And then there are other famous national parks to visit on this video cassette, but we're focusing in on the Grand Canyon. Now, the Grand Canyon, you'll see a picture also. Do you see way in the distance? It's not mountains, but it's a canyon that formed. And so this picture was taken at the Grand Canyon in the year 1998. And yes, that's Mr. Thomas and myself. So this frame and picture was our little keepsake of our trip out to the Grand Canyon. And do you see the guardrail? So that you wouldn't want to fall over, would you? Because it'd be a long ways down, many, many feet. All right, so in your papers, you're looking at pictures of the Grand Canyon. Now we're going to clap out some syllables. When I say a word, I want you to clap its parts. Okay? Camping, 2. Overnight, 3. Ranch, 1. Canyon, 2. Vacation, let's clap that one out together. Vacation, 3. 3 syllables, 3 parts. And last of all, in your phonics lesson today, I want to read you a story. And when I pause, I'm going to tell you a word to think of to put into the story. Today in school, we made blank kites in art class. Can you think of an adjective that would describe the kites? Maybe like colorful kites. We walked blank to our tables. I need an adverb. How did you walk to the table? You could say quietly to the tables. I chose blank paint and blank paper. So I need an adjective. I need you to describe the paint and a descriptive word to describe the paper. You could say red paint, white paper. Remember, color words tell you what it looks like. Color words are adjectives. Jan worked so blank, but Ben worked blanker, or Ben worked blank. So we need an adverb to tell how Jan worked and an adverb to tell how Ben worked. You could say Jan worked sweetly, but Ben worked quicker. So sweetly, quicker, those are describing words to describe the verb. I made a blank bird on my kite. We need an adjective to describe what kind of bird. I made a blue bird. Okay, blue is a color word. So in your paper today, you're going to practice your adjectives, your adverbs, and contractions. Alrighty, that's our lesson for today.